So, it's been a while since we've been in this room, hasn't it? In fact, it's actually changed a bit. They've actually made some changes to this room in recent times, especially in patch 8.3. In fact, you'll notice something else in the back there has been added. We'll get to that someday later. Who knows when? I don't know. I'm not in any huge rush to get to that one, but that one over there is getting closer, as you can see here. But anyways, hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warcraft. If you see this, because I'll probably be uploading this relatively soon after I make it, it's gonna be a little time-wise out of place if you are perhaps watching my playthrough where I am doing the Alliance questing in Kultiris for BFA as this character right here, my Demon Hunter. I've been making a lot of progress with him. You'll see I've actually gotten him up to 427 recently. Partly because recently I came across... No, I didn't do any Mythic 4, Mythic plus 4. What I ended up getting was while doing Island Expeditions, I got a treasure map, which got me a mission on the mission table, which gave me it was over 700 or 800 Titan Residium. And I found the vendor, the Ethereal, who takes Titan Residium for Azerite armor. And so I used it to get, 445 armor for your head, your shoulders, and your chest. And then, of course, once you get all the stuff, you've set up to 450. So, and they were only 150 each. I was just blown away by that. So, obviously, it's a little, out of place based on where you probably checking on that playthrough. But this is kind of a look into the future, because today we are going to be attempting to do the allied race quest for this guy right over here. The Dark Iron Dwarves. In case you need a little reminder, before we talk to Asa, right here, the Dark Iron Dwarves. Now first off, how many of you ever thought this was going to be a possibility, considering the stuff that happened back in the day regarding the Dark Iron Dwarves, like in Vanilla, for example. Think about the stuff with the Dark Iron Dwarves back in Vanilla, and now look where we are. They are actually a part of the Alliance. So, in case you were curious, I need to do get exalted with the 7th Legion, which I just did, and get the achievement for Ready for War. Known for their fiery tempers and a fierce determination, the Dark Iron have a history of strife with the other dwarven clans as well as their own kin. Queen Regent Moira seeks to unite her people and lead them in the fight to save Azeroth. Sorry, I kind of transitioned to my dwarven accent there because I'm getting ready. I'm about to be talking about the dwarf as we do this. If you're curious how they work gameplay-wise, their racial traits are Fireblood, removes harmful effects and empowers you. I expect that to be inactivatable. Dungeon Delver, this is the one that I find interesting. They move faster while they are indoors. Now, how many of you have spent time going through dungeons or raids indoors and you can't mount and you're like, and you're not playing a class that can be able to have extra mobility or something like that, and you're just like, oh my gosh, and you're having to kind of just run through as fast as you can, but it takes forever because you don't run very fast. This sounds pretty cool. I'm just saying. This will make doing stuff like that easier. Blacksmithing skill increased and blacksmithing crafts faster if you still care about stuff like that. But I will say that kind of incentivizes you to play a plate wearing class. And I'll begin to that by the end of this video. I've already decided what we're actually going to do. I'll explain when we get there. But first, why don't we actually work on unlocking them? Mole Machine. When outdoors, summon a mole machine that tunnels through the earth. I cannot wait to see how this works. This sounds fascinating. Forged in Flames reduces physical damage taken. You can already see, once again, kind of incentivizing you to go the plate-wearing class way, whether it be Paladin, Warrior, or as of recent times, a Death Knight. But, like I said, we'll get to that later. I'll explain when we get there. For now, if I recall, Anduin used to be here, and he would be the one to give you the class. Since then, they've put Asa, which I find interesting and kind of funny for 2 reasons. Well, actually, perhaps 3. One, I'm sure this makes all those people who can't stand Pandorans or hate Pandorans just sick, which I don't know about you, but as someone who loves the Pandorans and loves Miss Pandaria and all that, it kind of puts a grin on my face to know that those people are just anguishing right now. Second reason. I find this interesting because of where we left off Asa, and G, for that matter. Not only at the end of Mists of Pandaria with Siege of Orgrimmar, but also in Legion. Keep in mind that we actually, if you play as a monk, you actually see that she and G ended up together in Legion, and they are basically training young monk students and such together as a couple. At least that's what I picked up on, and what I think they were insinuating, anyways. What was the third one? I think maybe that actually was the amusement of the people who are sick of Pandarans, and that I'm also wondering, the whole of, I guess Asa decided to do this as well while she's training, stuff with G. But then again, G is also still back in Orgrimmar, so I guess they've decided to be together, but they're still being loyal to their factions. I don't know.
It's good to see you.
Have you heard how the Dark Iron Dwarves joined the Alliance? It was a most unusual turn of events. Brave heroes of the Alliance had been fighting the Dark Iron Dwarves for years, until a schism happened in their ranks. Moira Thorason, or Thorason, Thorishan, yeah. I have heard many people pronounce this different ways. I'll go with either Thorason or Thorason, either one. Estranged daughter of the former dwarven king Magni Bronzebeard was leading a faction of the Dark Iron Dwarves. Moira wished to aid the alliance. This began with an offer to help research Azerite and its potential uses within Black Rock Depths. Oh, Black Rock Depths. How many of you have memories, both fond and horrible, of Black Rock Depths? If you do, feel free to leave those stories in the comments below. I would love to hear, especially if you were one of those who played back in the day, back in vanilla, who, participated in that quite a bit. So, speak with Moira at the Stormwind Embassy to travel to Black Rock Depths. And apparently Stormwind is under attack. I guess there's some Horde PvP guys here. And Moira just showed up. Now, let me take a moment to talk about Moira. Because, well, again, I brought up the thing about the Dark Iron Dwarves actually joining the Alliance, considering the history that we have had with the Dark Irons. And for those who don't know, and it's partly due to what happened in that dungeon I was referring to. So back then, now it's changed since then. In fact, I think I can probably show it to you here. No. But in that dungeon, when you reach this man, Emperor Dagrun Thorason, who is the final boss, she and Moira, or, she and him, I should say he and Moira, I'm getting, those two, there we go, those two. I don't recall if they actually got married or not, but she basically grew to, I guess, sympathize with the Dark Irons, because you could see that part of what was going on was that they were kind of enslaved to the elementals, especially the fire elementals, and this especially became the case when Ragnaros was there. Yeah. So she kind of, grew to kind of understand what was going on with them, and this is one of the reasons why she ended up becoming very popular with the Dark Iron people that were remaining, because, and afterwards, while this time was happening, Magni actually asked the heroes of both the Horde and the Alliance to go to Blackrock Depths and save his daughter Moira, because he believes that she's being held hostage and a prisoner, when she's actually staying there willingly and being with Dagran Thorason, basically as his lover. In fact, she ends up pregnant with his child. And we go there, and I think this is why they designed this in Hearthstone, in case you're curious, part of what we had to do was that she was also a hostile enemy when we encounter him, but we could not obviously hurt her or kill her, because we were there to save her, and, on Magni's behalf. So part of what, at least this is how they depict it in Hearthstone. I have to go by that because obviously I wasn't playing back then. You had to kill him without hurting her, and then she blames you for that, and she's mad at you for that. Now, later on, she gives birth to a son. Now, keep in mind, this is where some political stuff comes into play, and this is where Moira is shown to be a very smart, very intelligent person who also is very good at playing the political game. The Game of Thrones, if you will. Thank you. But seriously, that's actually what she was trying to do, especially in Ironforge, because of the whole thing with the three hammers. The Bronzebeards, the Wild Hammers, and the Dark Irons. This is why we have the three representatives of them in Ironforge. If you go there and you find Moira, Muradin, and Falstad. So, the idea that she had was that because her son was now the grandson of Magni, a Bronzebeard, but also a son of this guy, Dagran Thorason, who she actually named him after, by the way, her son. This is why sometimes we talk where she'll say, my son will someday rule the Dark Irons, and perhaps all of Ironforge as well. Because that's kind of what she was going for. Now, back then, like in Cataclysm, and I'll probably talk about this when you guys see my video on the starter zone for the Dwarfs, this is where a lot of people thought Moira was just straight up like, sinister and evil. However, since then, she has actually become more nuanced, where she's actually done some of the things where people have actually started to warm up to her, and she's actually been getting better, to the point where now we're just kind of casually interacting with her here to basically officially add the Dark Irons to the Alliance, at least as an out in terms of this. Now, they're saying they've already joined the Alliance. Though, usually the point of these quests that we're doing here, the point of the quest I'm doing, is that my character does something here in this quest line to help officially add this race into the Alliance. That was the case with some others as well. We did the quest here for the Lightforged Draenei, where I participated in that, and then I showed up here with Terralion, and they were officially joining the Alliance. Same thing with the Void Elves over there. So, I hardly know anything about what's actually about to happen here. Whatever the scenario is that we're about to do. I saw like a snapshot or a glimpse of it, but I really don't know what I'm about to do. So forgive me if this takes a little longer than usual. But it also required that talk because this is something a lot of people I'm sure never thought was going to happen. And I imagine there are some vehement dwarf players from back in the day that are, if they are really into the lore or really into role-playing their dwarven characters, that they probably hated the fact that all of a sudden Dark Irons were getting added as an allied race. Like, they abhor the idea of playing as a Dark Iron Dwarf. To them, the Dark Irons are evil. Absolute evil. Like, we're talking like Dark Brotherhood evil. But, as I said earlier, you could sympathize with them a bit because they were kind of doing things, or rather being forced to do things, because the Fire Elementals, led of course by Ragnaros, were kind of forcing them to. But that's kind of a generalized nutshell version of what was going on there. There's a lot more when it comes to the lore of what was going on at Blackrock Mountain over there in the Burning Steppes, but that's not the place for this. So,
why have you approached me? Take care.
The Alliance
is short.
Thanks, Moira. The Alliance needs strength, unity. The King's plan to bring in fresh blood is a good one. As for the Dark Iron clan, the Alliance needs us now more than ever. If only I can show the rest of my clan how much we need allies ourselves, perhaps we can finally all agree that we are indeed already part of the Alliance. See, I'm not sure if the Moira from back in Kata would have perhaps said or acted the same way. I really do think that she has kind of grown as a person, as a character, and not has become as as hungry for the power of the throne or such. Though I will say they need to update the model of her son. The fact that it's been several years since he was born. And yet his model, if you go to Ironforge, he's still a baby in a cradle. What? Alright, I'm ready to go to Blackrock Depths. Oh gosh. Going through this place, even today, just like to farm something is, ugh. Ugh. Look at this map. Look at this. Actually, why is the molten core here? It's not showing the other part of the map, which is the... I can even show it to you here. Alright, so this is what you're seeing now. This is... But then here's the other level, Shadowforge City. Look at this! Look at how many bosses are here! This place is huge! And again, this was like, you had to go through here, you had to go through here, you had to go over here to face Thaurissan, then you had to go over here, and then here was the entrance to the Molten Core. Because that's how you entered the Molten Core back then. You went through Blackrock Depths and did all this in order to get in there. You know, if I recall, I think I heard it was actually part of the attunement thing. I think? Not entirely sure about that. Forgive me for not being that familiar on it, so... Okay, let's go ahead and make sure I'm tracking this. Yes, love is in the air. I'm doing this while the love in this the love is in the air holiday event just started, so that's why you'll see a few quests over here. I'll go ahead and stop tracking those. Obviously, that's not important right now. So there is this. I'll be prepping to do that. In fact, I think I'm pretty good in a position now that I've gotten up to this that I could be able to go in there and probably even tank that. Oh, no voice acting. How weird. Thanks for coming, Nixon. I've had me best working on refining Azurite since it first appeared back up in our depths. They're making progress. Anduin keeps asking for updates, seems like every day. So I thought we'd show you what we've learned. Thielen, Thurgoden, put your backs into it. Aye, Queen Regent. Might pop in some more Azurite up on the anvil for me, Nixon. Demon Hunter was sure to encounter spontaneous Azure Genius incidents while shaping the Azurite. Think you can handle it? Well, their curmudgeonly bookworm means is watch our backs when the elements attack us. Have I ever mentioned how much I love dwarves in this game? In this setting? But I've always loved dwarves in general. Alright. Here you go. We've discovered the application of great magic to Azurite that can have some unexpected results. It's alright, Moira. I can handle some incoming Azurite elementals.
I can't attack that.
Yes, I can. Here comes some more of them.
I can't attack that target.
Wow, that's a big one. Yeah, well, so am I.
I can't attack that.
Goblins in the tunnels. I thought you ought to know. Spineless green turds think that to attack us in our home? Anvilthane, go gather your sorcerers for a counterattack. Champion, take the Dark Iron Highway and see that it's secure. Thielen, head up through the Hall of Crafting. They might be on the way to the Black Vault. Oh gosh, I have to go. Oh no. Just when things started looking good for us. Over here.
I need to get...
Howdy, boys. Come on. Everybody gather together. Let's go. Come on.
I need to target
You
something
made quick
first.
work of those. We're opening the door. I can hear a whole lot of enemies on the other side. Watch your back.
At least Moira is concerned about my well-being. Watch your back. But then again, that's usually something a lot of dwarves will say. Watch your back. Keep your feet on the ground. Safe travels. Like I said, I love the dwarves.
I need a target.
Oh, the Dark Iron Highway. By the way, can I say something? And this is something I'm going to be touching up upon in my video when I do the soloing dungeons video about this dungeon. I'll have the actual info for you when I do that video. But for now, let me point out that there was someone who was an architect who built this entire city
Target.
within a volcanic mountain. I don't even have words to describe the technological marvel when it comes to designing a city from an architecture standpoint. Just think about that for a second. You are someone who is one of those contractors, and you are given the task, we need you to design an entire city within a volcanic mountain. This is a marvel of an achievement when you think about it. This is incredible that this entire city exists inside this volcanic mountain. That is insane. But then again, we also had Erebor in The Hobbit, so which was also amazing. So,
I need to get closer.
in fact, is this the? Yep, that's it. That's the doorway, the gate. Let me just double check. Yep, right there. Baelgar! So, how many of you remember Baelgar standing there and wondering, what is behind that door?
Right. Use mega explosives!
What are the goblins doing here? Defeat Rixa Flux Flame.
It's too far away.
Okay.
I didn't know who that is. But
I
I'm
don't
sure
have a
she
target.
needs killing.
Oh, I will, Moira. I don't know why, but... Seriously, why are you here, Rixa? You just happen to be here, but there's no explanation or reason as to why. Wow. She is very tanky for a goblin. She must have some really strong armor. Look at how little damage she's taking. Now, yes, I know I'm playing a tank, but remember, the Demon Hunter tank class can deal out a really nice amount of damage. This is one of the things I love about questing as the tank spec. This is just one of those. This is gonna be one of those battles that goes really long. Oh! Oh.
Looks like I gotta reset our Days Sims gruesome death tracker!
Everyone, meet back at the Black Anvil. We need a damage report.
Really? That was it? Queen Regent, are you alright, lass? I'm fine. You don't look so good yourself. Some sort of pummeler ambushed me and stole Ironfall. Son of the core, that must have been the big mech that slammed into me. You two, open your eyes! Look at the black anvil! Oh, hell's balls! Oh my gosh. Anvil! Anvil thing! Dark anvil! Figure out how to repair the black anvil. I've got another task for you. Those savages were Venture Company. That means they're gonna be in Kazan. Probably delivering Ironfoe into the greasy hands of Mogul Razdunk as we speak. Will you go recover the hammer? It's a power unto itself, and could spell disaster for us if the goblins figure out how to use it. By the way, in case you're curious what she's referring to, I'll just go ahead and pull up the guide here once more and show you. Because this was actually something you could get. In fact, this is something I still want to get when I found out about it. You just got to change the... Obviously, a demon hunter can't get it. This right here. It's a one-handed mace. It's one of 2 purple items that drop in this dungeon. This right here. The other purple item, in case you're curious, is this right here. The Circle of Flame. It's a cloth head item. So, let's just say that I'm planning on, if, you know, whenever I do actually try to farm this place, in fact, I'll be doing this in my video, I'll be doing this on my priest, because think about it. How many cloth-wearing classes are able to wield one-handed maces? I mean, pretty much priest. So, if you're going for these 2 purple items in this dungeon, I'll even prove it to you. Just look here at the entire list here. There's Ironfoe. There's the Circle of Flame. And that's it. Just a whole bunch of blues. There is one other. Yes, there is one other. Here, the Ring of Law. It's a level 60 mail piece. But, I mean, it's just a cause, you know. I would probably want to go there just, like, either on my Shaman or Hunter, just to get that. But, let's be honest with ourselves. The Circle of Flame and Ironfoe are the real prizes here. I would want this, especially for my upcoming Dark Iron Dwarf character that I'm going to be making. I absolutely would love to have this. And the fact that we are now actually about to do something to try and go retrieve it kind of speaks to how important it is, especially to their people.
In time, my son shall rule the Dark Irons, and perhaps all Ironforge as well.
There you go. That's what I was referring to, that little bit that she says there. By the way, I love the fact that she is wearing one of the sets that you can get as a mage. I know because that's part of the set that I wear on my mage as a fire mage. Meddling goblin bastards. Sorry, I just cannot abide those green miscreants any longer. Mogul Razdunk has always been a jealous sort, wishing that he was Gallywix or better. But he's the worst sort of greedy. He won't stop at anything to achieve his ends, no matter the cost. It was a bold move even for him to strike at us in Blackrock depths. He should have known he was going too far. Kill that covetous wretch and bring the hammer back where it belongs. You'll find him in Kazan, somewhere he calls the Mother Lord. Likely with too many explanation points. I get that. Very nice joke there. Recover Ironfoe from Razdunk, and we'll be getting 600 Azurite from that. And considering how close I am to 72, that's going to be nice. And of course, we're going to take a mole machine. Why wouldn't we? Alright, so let's see. Wait, are you serious? I have to actually queue up for the dungeon for this? Hold on a second. Wait, the guy who's... Oh my gosh, are you serious? So this guy is what, gonna drop it? Oh my gosh, I have to do this dungeon. Oh no! Well, guess what, guys? You get to see me queue up and do this dungeon. So, okay. And hey, I'm a tank, so this shouldn't be fast at all, right? Here we go. Hey, felly. She's so cute. I found her in Tanan Jungle, in case you're curious. This is a surprisingly long queue time for a tank. Usually, when you're a tank, it's almost instantaneous. Then again, I wonder how many people are actually bothering to queue up for this dungeon. They're probably more so queuing up for heroic, but you know, there's also a number of people, even on Alliance side, that I'm sure would actually do this dungeon. Do I dare? Do I dare queuing for the heroic? You know what? Sure, let's do it. Let's add both the normal and the heroic to this. Why not? Let's go for it. Obviously, I can't queue up for Mythic, but... And I'm obviously not doing this for gear, since, like, there's only one thing here, but even that's kind of able. However, funny thing, I actually do have a couple pieces, but I can't put them on. You know why? Corruption! Look at this ring I got. 75 corruption. Oh my gosh. So yes, these are nice upgrades. This one very slightly, 25 corruption. But I'm not going to put that on with that much corruption. I'm going to wait until I progress in the story where I get the Chamber of Heart and get to the point where Mother actually has me... In fact, I probably could just... I don't know. Anyways, I want to get to that point where I unlock Mother being able to actually cleanse this. But obviously I haven't done that yet. Otherwise I would just go do that. Which is something else I should do in regards to my Heart of Azeroth, since that will let me be able to unlock the other powers and such with the essences. Now, if you're wondering, well, why haven't you done that yet? Because it's part of the linear story that I'm doing in the playthrough. That's why you see the quest here where I am going to be doing the Battle of Dazar'lor raid. You know, I got to do that next before I continue with the story, obviously. Otherwise, it just kind of doesn't make that much sense, because then you're just kind of jumping all over the place. That's why I took my time with the questing in Kul Tiras, because I wanted to help tell a cohesive story. My gosh, this is a long queue for a tank. I am not used to waiting this long queuing up as a tank. But then again, I guess it really does depend on the dungeon and how many other people are actually bothering to queue up for this. Just need a healer willing to queue up for this dungeon. I'm telling you, this is going to make me want to, after I do this, this is going to make me want to hop on. There we go. Alright, here we go. This will be interesting. Yep. Heroic. Oh, nice. You have a warlock. Thank you for that. Alright. Let our Death Knight join us. And then... Alright. Here we go.
Right where you belong. Under my heel.
Give me back Iron 4, you goblin!
Get behind.
Oh boy!
Keep moving.
Get over 300 rounds per minute.
Get behind, boss.
Oh gosh.
Take some high caliber carnage!
Oof.
What am I paying you fools for? Get out here and fix
Where is
this!
it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, over here.
Stack. Target you. Stack.
So as far as I can tell, he just kind of picks a random target. So once you know he's targeting you, you have to bring him to where the barrel is.
Pulverize!
That person didn't know that he's the one being targeted and has to bring him to the barrel.
Crush! Yeah! You'll pay for that! Crush! Yeah! My insurance
Target
premium!
you.
Come on. Over here. There we go.
My insurance premium!
Hurry, hurry. Ah!
Pulverize!
Okay, hopefully we can burst him down before we have to do that whole sequence again.
Get behind, boss. Keep moving.
Take some high caliber carnage!
There we go.
Target.
Whew. Wow, that monk was impatient. Left the moment we beat the boss. Wow. Well, I finally have Iron Foe. It's just not the one that I want that I can use to be able to actually unlock it as a transmog. Oh, what a shame. Right. Moira, I have a gift for ya.
You stand before Moira, Queen Regent of the Dark Iron Clan. Watch your tongue.
Serves him right for stealing one of our most secret artifacts. I hope he squirmed. No. Oh no, don't you... Is she about to send me into the molten core? We'll need a fragment of the core to repair the black anvil, and who knows how much dark iron to achieve the necessary purity. Thalen can figure that part out. In fact, I think you ought to go with you to get yourself a fragment of the molten core. It's too dangerous to go deep via mole machine, but he's got a hardy tank that can get you the rest of the way from the top. Talk to me when you're ready. Sure, Moira. Send me into the molten
Our
core.
sorcery, as well as our strength.
I think I need a sip of water after that. Ah, you might think that this'll be a quick snatch and grab, and you'd almost be right. Only problem is we've got a bunch of fiery beasties on our way down to Ragnaros' old lair. Not to mention that we're likely going to have to deal with old Gizok before we're allowed a piece of the core. Anyway, me tank should make things a bit easier. Try to not scratch her while I get some things ready. Okay. Yep, we're back in the molten core. Now he said Gezrock. Well, that's not a name I recognize. I'll still never forget the run I made in here. Oh, so this is how we're going through Molten Core. In a giant tank. Okay? Frozen Keekers deals frost damage to all enemies in a cone. And afterburn. Engage the vehicle's overdrive system. Enemies run over by the vehicle are killed instantly. Woo! Oh no! The trash of Molten Core! Boy, how many of you would have loved to have gone through Molten Core like this back in the day? Just in a form of it being cathartic for you to just absolutely annihilate. Now, of course, nowadays you can just, you know, take a max level character in here and just wipe out everything. But I imagine but I'm talking about like back then. And, you know, obviously I didn't raid back then because I wasn't playing back then. But... oh, look out! Left, right, lava! Well, that happened. Good thing I have backups. Looks like we're going on foot the rest of the way. Oh my gosh, they have updated trash in here. They're not the 60 ones that I can one-shot. Yes, I'm creating lovely charms. Don't question it. Oh. So he's basically the new version of Majordomo Executives.
I can't attack that target.
Obviously, we're not going to see Ragnaros. He's dead. He's perma-dead. We took care of that in Firelands and Cataclysm. Is he going to be someone we have to face? Nice job just running through that lava, man. Huh. Who approaches? Thalen, Dark Anvil of the Dark Iron Clan. And what do you seek, child of fire? We need a piece of the Molten Core to repair the Black Anvil. Yes, you do. Defeat me, and you may return with a fragment of the core. Right! Okay, sure. Are you somehow related to either, like, Majordomo or Shazrak? You know, the guy from Firelands. Just saying, you look kind of similar to them. You like some kind of distant cousin or something? And why are you here? Why would you be here after all the events that happened so long ago when we came through here in the Molten Core to defeat Ragnaros? And yes, in case you were curious, yes, I do still make trips in here. For transmog reasons. Very well. You have earned a piece of the Molten Core. Use it wisely. So this is the actual Molten Core that it kept referring to. Oh, she's a beauty, ain't she? Let's get out of here. The mole machine should get us back to Stormwind in one piece. Oh, how convenient. We have one right here. I have to say, if a good chunk of this quest is really just you doing the Motherlode dungeon, I gotta say that's very disappointing. Because so far, no other allied quests that I've done involved us going into a dungeon. I feel like this is one of those that the devs were kind of like, oh, we could do this, but we're also kind of, like they were running out of ideas of how to make this a long and interesting quest chain.
You stand before Moira, Queen Regent of the Dark Iron Clan. Watch your tongue.
Good work. That fragment gets us a long way toward fixing the Black Anvil. Oh my gosh, we're going to the Firelands again. Alright, the hard part should be behind us. Now we just need to take that molten core fragment that you recovered into the Firelands and charge it up by Ragnaros' old swimming pool. Don't worry, I'm sending Anvil Thane Thurgadin with you. Just give me a nudge when you're ready. Wow.
Why have you approached me?
Alright, I was just talking about this place. Ah, that's the stuff. The scent of fire in the morning, and noon, and night. We need to delve into the Fire Lord's lair to get that molten core charged up. So yeah, we're right at the doorstep of Ragnaros' lair. Now keep in mind, especially if you played a Dark Iron cultist. Oh, interesting. Now keep in mind, if you played a shaman in Legion, you know that we actually helped pick a replacement to be the new Fire Lord here in the Firelands. So I'm curious if we're actually going to be encountering him here, and what he's going to say. What's the meaning of this? Anvil Thane? Who ordered the bridge closed? Who's in charge here? Well, you see... Enough of your yammering and horn! Spit it out, lad! Anvil Thane Thurgadin is here! Alert High Justice Grimstone! Who?
To target something first.
Right, let's get that bridge up. I think I know just the spell. Ah, the old cutscene for getting the bridge to show up in Firelands. Yep. I miss, Staghelm, doing the, well, well, heroes, what is your answer? I still come here on a weekly basis. I've gotten Ragnaros' mount, but I haven't gotten the Flame Talon mount, plus I haven't gotten the toy for my druid that lets me be able to basically have a perma activation for that fire cap. So let's just say I keep coming here to face Staghelm every week with my druid to hopefully get that toy to drop. In fact, that toy has a lower drop rate than either of the mounts here do. By the way, based on what I have planned to show you guys at the end of this questline, when we actually make our Dark Iron character, this is going to be a very long video. So I know it's now over an hour long, but you guys are just going to have to bear with it. I'm sorry about the whole thing with the dungeon, but hey, what are you going to do? That's how it works when it comes to dungeons, and apparently the devs were like, let's throw a dungeon in there. Because apparently the rest of this quest isn't long enough, and we need to give some kind of reason for Ironforge to go missing, for the anvil to get destroyed. Let's throw goblins in there and have them go into the Motherlode because, hey, you face goblins in that dungeon, so it makes sense, right? I'm sorry, but the fact that they apparently had to come up with some kind of way to include the Motherlode dungeon with, because I was like wondering, why are the goblins here? And now it makes sense why, because they were trying to come up with an excuse to, have you go into the Motherlode dungeon. Let's have goblins go there and destroy, and break the anvil, so that way they now have a reason to have to go to these places. Could have come up with something else, but whatever.
Short.
So in case you thought, oh, all the Dark Irons are, good now. No, there are still Dark Irons that are basically still being cultists to the Fire Elementals, like they were back to, for Ragnaros back in Vanilla. Not all of them have just been like, alright, let's join Moira and join the Alliance and we'll be all buddies and all good. No. There are still some Dark Irons that are like, oh, praise be the Fire Elementals. And yeah, they're basically still in those old ways. Kind of refuse to
It's too far away.
Reform, you could say.
I can't attack that target.
The lava bursters are here again.
I can't attack that. can't attack that target.
I like how it shows basically the headpiece of Ragnaros is still there from when we killed him. If he pops up, I mean, there's no way he should. And trust me, I would have heard about it, so he's not going to. If he had popped up here, people would have talked, and they would have spread the news. Like, oh my gosh, Ragnaros is back! No, no, no. That's not Ragnaros over there. That's like just either what's left of him, or that's something that makes us think it's him. High Justice Grimstone? Huh. Grimstone? What in the core is going on here? Where is Smolderon? All in due time, Anvil. You know as well as I that the Queen Regent is soft, weak. Tread carefully, Herald. You're walking on hot coals with talk like that. Show some respect. You will address me by me title. Fine. Tread carefully, Herald. You blaspheme against our rightful leader. Rightful leader? There's no fire in Moira's veins. Our rightful leader is the true Lord of Flame, not some bronze-beard whelp, not a pretender to his throne. Ragnaros? You mean to bring that tyrant back? But when the Sorcerer Thane tried that, while Thorasan did not lack for vision, his folly was trying to control the Fire Lord. Instead, we must serve him in all things. You think that ragged band of embers that you gathered will impress him? I believe that we snuffed out most of your rabble cultists on our way in here. When the true Fire Lord rises again, oh, faithful Dark Irons will heed his call. Do you mean to oppose us? You're darn well right, I do. Very well. No sense in further pleasantries then. So he wants to revive Ragnaros. Fire on you! Mark me words, the Fire Lord will have his due. See you then, old friend. Oh, this is grave news. Grimstone and his fanatics are working to bring Ragnaros back. I thought he'd know better. But first things first, we need to get that molten core charged up so that we can fix the black anvil. Now, I thought Ragnaros was permadead. Are they now saying he could come back? Because I know some people that is gonna piss off. Oh, that should do it. Alright, let's get out of here. I'll get our finest scouts looking for Grimstone. We'll need to stop that mad bastard before he brainwashes more followers. Oh, man. I need another drink of water. Alright, Moira, where are you going to send me this time?
In time, my son shall rule the Dark Irons, and perhaps all Ironforge as well.
High Justice Grimstone calls himself the Herald of Ragnaros now, does he? Ha! That traitor will rule the day that he turned his back on the Dark Iron Dwarves. You've done more than I had any right to ask. Recovered Ironfall from our enemy, retrieved a fragment of the molten core, and exposed the enemy within our ranks at the Firelands. If you would do me the favour, would you come with us back to Blackrock Depths one last time while we repair our most sacred anvil? Alright.
Ironforge has need of our sorcery, as well as our strength.
The Black Anvil. the final stroke is yours. We decided to make a few upgrades while repairing the Black Anvil. It's a good day to be a Dark Iron. I was dubious about this whole arrangement, but it seems that things have worked out for the better. Alright. We've done it. Let us return to Stormwind and report in to the king.
You stand before Moira, Queen Regent of the Dark Iron clan. Watch your tongue.
We're grateful to you. I can't thank you enough. Without your help, Ironfall would be lost to us, and the Black Anvil could never have been made whole. But even more than that, you have proven to every Dark Iron in the mountain what it means to be a part of something bigger. To be a part of the Alliance. The time has come to let King Anduin know that my people stand with him. And we'll be getting the Dark Iron Core Hound. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Alright. Back to Stormwind. Whew. I like how it shows me exiting the mole machine.
Patience is the highest virtue.
And so ends the tale of how the Dark Iron Dwarves joined the Alliance. Those who we once believed to be enemies of the Alliance are now close allies. You know, I feel like coming from Asa, this may not mean that much, because really, how would... I mean, don't get me wrong. Asa has made it clear she has done her homework on the history of the setting. That she did a lot of research looking into what happened, you know, over history. So looking into history, she would have read up about what happened with the Dark Iron Dwarves and the Alliance and all that. But, you know, let's just say I wouldn't believe her if she was talking as if she experienced it firsthand. If this was Anduin, I could kind of believe that, because he was a kid back then. But anyways. Their mastery over the Earth continues to help the Alliance. There's an important lesson here. Even amongst our fiercest enemies are those who may one day become allies. Yay! Oh, that's right. I can't access it yet until I get on my Dark Iron character, which we can now go take a look at. The Dark Iron Dwarves. So, look at the amount of selections here. You can do a number of things if you want. You can be a warrior, you can be a paladin, a hunter with that pet, you can be a rogue, you can be a priest, which makes sense because Moira is a shadow priest. You can be a shaman, also makes sense since regular dwarves can be shamans. You can be a mage, you can be a warlock, and you can be a monk. And as of, well, Shadowlands, basically, you can be a death knight. Now, so, here's what I decided, and what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this twice, and I have my reasons. So, we're going to first make this character a paladin for two reasons. One, I want to show the intro of what it's like to make a Dark Iron Dwarf, because usually there's a cutscene, there's a thing of you going to Stormwind, just to unlock that stuff. The other reason is because I believe there is a Dark Iron equivalent of the Dwarf Paladin Ram mount that you can get. I saw a Dark Iron Dwarf Paladin riding by on it, and I was just like, oh, because it looked awesome, because they had the Dark Iron aesthetics on it, and it looked so cool. And I'm doing that to see if I can actually have that be added to my mount collection. However, that's not what I decided to have my Dark Iron be. I thought about it. And as I thought about it more and more, I gravitated more towards the idea that instead he's going to be a Death Knight. Now, there's a couple of other reasons for that. One, these days I find myself really enjoying playing as Death Knights. Two, there's a whole new intro for when you make a Death Knight if they are either an allied race, any of these, or a Pandaren. Because that was something that was brand new that you could do, that was added recently if you have pre-ordered Shadowlands, that you could make a Death Knight out of either a Pandaren or any of these allied races. And instead of 58, you start, instead of 55, you start at level 58. And you get a whole new intro, and it's so cool. And I'm going to show it to you guys. And I thought this would be the best way to do it. So, let's go ahead and start making him. And I'll probably just probably need to do some editing of this video to perhaps cut this down, because we're approaching an hour and a half at this point. So I'm going to start working on making this character, and I will be right back. Alright, let's see the intro.
The mountain gives us life, grants us strength. The same blood that flows through our veins flows through Azeroth as well. Upon hammer and anvil, our kingdom was forged, with hearts of fire and wills of iron. This world must be defended. Forward, Dark Irons! To battle we march! Why have you approached me? Take care. My patience is short.
She has such long lines when you interact with her, doesn't she? The mountain will always be home, but there is a whole world of adventure up there on the surface. You look like just the sort of paladin to find it. For a long time, the Dark Iron stood apart from the other kingdoms. The time has come to show him that we fight for Azeroth too. There's an ambassador in Stormwind waiting to speak to you. He can help guide you along your journey. The Alliance needs our strength, Papaneeks. Get out of there. Get out there and show him the might of the mountain.
Many of our people have advised against journeying to the surface, but the brave know better. Now is the time for the Dark Iron to emerge from the shadows. Azeroth awaits ye, with Stormwind, the first spark of the anvil. We were forged in the flames of the mountain. Show the world your fire.
Aye, my queen. Forgive me, I just started to enjoy listening to the theme of Stormwind. I love the music in Stormwind and in Orgrimmar. I love both cities' music.
Well met.
Ah, there you are. We've been expecting you.
Welcome, friend. I am King Anduin Rin. As a new member of the Alliance, I wish to greet you personally. These are troubled times for Azeroth. In the days to come, you will face many trials, fight many foes. Know that you are never alone against the darkness, for the Alliance stands with you. I look forward to hearing of your progress. Something tells me we will speak again soon. Safe travels. May the light be with you, always.
Thanks, Anduin. Now, give me a second. There's a couple of things I want to find. I don't know what it's going to be called. Well, there's this one. Here it is. The Dark Forge Ram. Now, here's the thing. I can't tell if this is an extra mount or not. Or if this is, like, basically the same thing. Like, if this, you know. Look at this. Look at that. That's so cool looking. Oh, I remember getting that. Anyways, let me get both of these here. That's so cool. Does it show that it actually added it to my collection when I logged in? Yep. The Dark Iron Car Horn was added to your collection, but it doesn't say anything about the Dark Forge Ram, though. Let's take a look at both of them. Look at that. Oh. So cool. You know what? Another reason why I'm really glad that I got this mount is because I'm never going to get the Core Hound one for the 10th anniversary because I wasn't playing back then. So I never got to participate in it. So I'll never have that Core Hound, but I now have this Core Hound. So really happy about that. So let's very quickly head over here because I want to see what the what happens when I do the board for this mission. And then we will redo this character. And I'll explain why in just a moment. Mudrick, the Dark Iron Emissary.
You got my attention.
Welcome to Stormwind. Too much sun out here if you ask me. I'm off to seek adventure, and somewhere a bit darker.
Watch your back.
Alright. So we're about to now... So now I'm going to delete this character and redo him and make him a Death Knight. And here's kind of my reason why. And this is something I sometimes like to do to kind of justify the creation. Think about how many Dark Irons died many years ago when Thorison accidentally summoned Ragnaros. Now, he wasn't trying to summon Ragnaros. He was just trying to summon a powerful elemental to aid in their war and kind of help them survive. He didn't intend to summon Ragnaros himself. That was an accident. He just did the summoning very carelessly and accidentally summoned Ragnaros, which caused all this to happen. The reason the Burning Steps are as devastated here as they are is because that was the destruction that was caused by the accidental summoning of Ragnaros. A lot of people died. And think about also how many Dark Iron Dwarves have died, not just from that, but over the years as well. So this is something that's been very recent. Here's my line of thinking. What if amongst all those was my character you're going to see next? And, well, we know that the Lich King is fully capable of seeing not just into the souls of the living, but the souls of who have died as well. How do you think he decides to make his choices of who to raise as Death Knights and even as the Four Horsemen? That was something that we actually came into play during the campaign in Legion. So let's just say, in my line of thinking, my next character you're about to see was noticed by the current third Lich King and went, I see a great amount of potential in this one. Yes, he is definitely worthy to join my ranks, especially now that I am deciding to add to our ranks with the new races that have joined the Alliance and Horde, including the Pandaren, that will now be Death Knights, because we're going to need them. But I will let him kind of explain that. Give me a moment, and you'll see. Behold, the new intro for the Death Knights. Forgive me, but I just love any new additions to utilizing the Lich King and his voice with Michael McConaughey. Any chance they do it. I love it. Now, perhaps, to play along with what I was talking about, perhaps he was. Perhaps this is one of the least evil of the Dark Irons during those times. My character. Perhaps he was seen by his people as a hero for doing some deeds to help out some of his local friends and, people and such. And yeah, what if when the whole thing happened, he actually sacrificed himself to try and save some other Dark Irons. So, but yeah, this is awesome. Look at this. Some of these are Zandalari. Some of these are Mechanomes. Some of these are Vulpirans. Some are Mag'har Orcs. Some are High Mountain Tauren. Some are Pandaren. You guys get the point. In fact, the Lich King himself is about to kind of elaborate on this a bit. And yes, as I mentioned in Legion, these are the new 4 horsemen, in case you didn't know. That is Nazgrim. Yes, that Nazgrim. That is King Thoris Trollbane. Guys, remember him? There's Darian Mograine. And High Inquisitor Sally Whitemane. Yes, that Whitemane. By the way, look at some of these Mogs they're using. The one that I find the most amusing is Mograine. He's got the sword, the Slayer of the Lifeless, which is also known as the sword that they had in the South Park episode that focused on WoW. I find that very amusing that that's the weapon he's using. I used to be very jealous of these mounts that they have, until I got Midnight from Karazhan, so... Ah, yes, my king.
Destiny calls to you.
Let me see if I can... My throat's starting to get a little tired after this, how long this episode has been. But let's see if I can try to redo, or try to my best to emulate the Lich King's voice.
Listen closely, Ironneeks. A time of great destruction lies on the horizon that will challenge our very existence.
Shadowlands teaser, foreshadowing.
Now, more than ever, we must rise to the defense of Azeroth. It is for this reason I have expanded the ranks of my champions to include...
It should say the Dark Iron Dwarves, because he's already had Ironforged dwarves, for a long time. But that's why he's saying he's also included the other allied races, including the Vulpira and the Pandaren.
Your sacrifice sets you apart from all others. Hold your head high forevermore. You will be a Death Knight, of the Ebon Blade. Now, swear your fealty.
Swear your fealty to the Lich King. And then this is how you get the new transmogs that they have added here. This has caused some people to raise some eyebrows. The Crimson Greatsword. This is the regular one-handed sword. This is the two-handed sword. Crimson, Freezing, Unholy, and then there's Burning. Now this has caused some people to wonder, are we possibly getting a fourth spec for the Death Knights in Shadowlands? Now, hear me out. I've actually had some theories on this. I've come up with a theory as to how this could work. First off, if there is a fourth spec, I think it could actually possibly be done as a healing spec. Now, before you start to go, just hear me out. Hear me out. Why would fire be a spec for the Death Knights? Well, let's remember what happened to Bolvar. He was burned by the fire of Alexstrasza, the fire of the Red Dragons. What are the Red Dragons about? Life. Alexstrasza, this is also shown in Heroes of the Storm with her being a healer, uses her power to restore life. That's why she's a healer. Think of it this way. What if surviving that fire from Alexstrasza allowed Bolvar to perhaps gain some of the healing capabilities of the fire of the Red Dragonflight, and somehow is able to help teach the rest of his new Death Knights the ability to use the fire of the Red Dragonflight to heal? I know it's a little far-fetched, it's a little bit of a stretch, but I actually think could be a not absurd explanation as to how that could actually work. I know some people would probably just go nuts, like, oh my gosh, a healing spec for Death Knights, blah, 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 blah. But think about this. They're teasing Shadowlands like it's going to be a very good expansion to play as a Death Knight, like in terms of the focus. Like how Legion was a really good expansion to play as a Demon Hunter. A lot of Demon Hunter stuff in Legion. I think they're really teasing Shadowlands like there's going to be quite a bit of Death Knight stuff in Shadowlands. Lots of Death Knight stuff. That's what I'm picking up on. So, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely planning on playing a Death Knight in Shadowlands and seeing how much Death Knight stuff there's going to be. Because of this focus, I think that's why Blizzard might go, we're now going to add a spec. Now, I'm sure this will cause an uproar for one reason or another, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of people that have a problem with it. I'm just giving my own possible explanation and reasoning as to how they could do it. That's all. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, we're of course taking the burning one because it also matches the whole Dark Iron Dwarf thing. But first,
For the war.
I swear my loyalty to you, Lich King.
There is much to be done.
I accept your pledge. Serve us well. To that end, new weapons worthy of the Knights of the Ebon Blade have been forged. Choose my champion.
Well, of course, because I'm a Dark Iron Dwarf, I'm taking the burning Great Sword of the Ebon Blade.
An excellent choice. Troubling times come. As one of the chosen few, it is both your burden and privilege to defend our world. It is a great honor. But also know you will be met with the scorn of the ignorant. Oftentimes, mortals are incapable of seeing past our fearsome appearance. Ignore these fools and do what must be done. Speak with your commander, then use his death gate to travel to the land of the living and choose your destiny.
unmerciful. You are empty inside, just like me.
Fun fact, he said that during the Mount questline in Legion, if you killed all the red dragons in the Ruby Sanctum.
We are driven by a single purpose: retribution.
Hi, Darian. Long time no see. This is an important moment. Make the knights proud. I am reporting for duty.
Dire times call for new allies. You come from a strong people. No doubt you will serve the Ebon Blade well. It seems the Lich King has sensed the same truth as we have. That a rising threat stalks us from the shadows, and that we must bolster our ranks to face it. There's little time for ceremony. Take up your blade and prove your mettle. Conquer the darkness. Become its master. Many in this world will fear you, revile you, but they need you more than they know. Go forth and claim your destiny, Death Knight. And through all the trials you endure, suffer well.
I'm not sure why they decided to get a new voice actor for Darian. I mean, he's had the same voice actor since Wrath, and even in Legion he had the same voice actor. But man, can you tell they are teasing and foreshadowing Shadowlands so hard right now with this whole intro here. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. This is, people ask, oh, what's a great class to play? And I usually find myself immediately saying Death Knight. Not necessarily just for gameplay, even though I love the gameplay of the Death Knight. But just the fantasy of it. My gosh, how can you not want to play a Death Knight with all this stuff surrounding it? This is awesome. I'm sorry, I love this. I love this. They're all saluting me as I leave. That's awesome. I love seeing this camaraderie amongst the Death Knights. It's a shame that apparently none of you are going to be staying here when Sylvanas shows up. Seriously, where were the four of you when he fought Sylvanas? I really need to find this out when Shadowlands comes out. Where were the four horsemen and all these Death Knights when Sylvanas showed up to take on the Lich King? Unless that's actually what he wanted. And boy, wouldn't that be interesting if he actually knew that was going to happen, and he allowed it. I mean, after all, as we saw in Warcraft 3, Kel'Thuzad kept telling Death Knight Arthas, the Lich King foresaw this as well. Also, I would love to see Kel'Thuzad return in Shadowlands. You have no idea how much I would love to see Kel'Thuzad finally return. We haven't seen Kel'Thuzad, I mean, I guess you could say since Wrath, because they brought Naxxramas back for Wrath. But if you don't count that, we haven't seen him since Naxxramas in Vanilla. Naxxramas was the last time that we saw Kel'Thuzad. And no, the projection of him in Borean Tundra does not count. I miss Kel'Thuzad. He was an awesome character. I really want him to come back. And man, Shadowlands is so perfect to bring him back. They're bringing Uther back. They're bringing Kael'thas back. They're even teasing they're bringing Arthas back. Kel'Thuzad, I really want to come back. And how about this? Just like in the original Death Knight intro, we start at either the gates of Stormwind or the gates of Orgrimmar and make our way inside. Alright, let me try to speed this up a little bit. Yes, I know. Obviously, I don't have the RAM listed here anymore. I'll still go ahead and, I just got this, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. I could use one of my own signature Death Knight mounts, like Vanquisher or or invincible if I want to, but I'm going to hold off on that. I got this new mount, I may as well enjoy it, right? So in the old intro, yes, love is in the air. In the old intro, you used to have to go all the way to Stormwind Keep. Here, you just go to the board. And of course, yep. Choose your destiny. And there's my death gate. And then I can, of course, because we're 58, we can already go ahead and either choose to go to Outland, if we want to do Burning Crusade, or we can go to Northrend, which, considering that we are a Death Knight, of course we're going to go to Northrend. It's just a matter of, do I want to go to the Howling Fjord, or do I want to do the Borean Tundra? You know what's funny? I have my regular Dwarven Death Knight in the Howling Fjord, so I think I'll have him go to the Borean Tundra. But anyways, that is it. That is it. Oh, my goodness. So, this was a long one, I know, but... so, I got to show you the Allied race questline for the Dark Iron Dwarves, which I'm not too crazy about the fact that it included the dungeon for Motherlode. I think that was a little bit of a waste of time. I may just cut out a huge chunk of that and just only show the last boss battle, just to kind of shorten that up. And then I showed you guys the new stuff involving the Death Knight, which I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. So, you know, I'll be continue to work on unlocking the Cult Tyrans on my main Demon Hunter, and I will see you guys next time.